My dear friends, I am Dr. Omkar Prasad Vaidya. Today I will be speaking on effect of COVID-19 on hematological system or hemopoietic system, or in layman's term effect of COVID-19 on blood and various blood parameters. Now COVID-19 has been declared as a global pandemic by World Health Organization. It is mainly spread by or transmitted via droplet infection or aerosol infection, but once it enters the human body, it can involve multiple organs and various systems of the body, and various researches and studies have shown that it can affect even the blood also, or hemopoietic system or hematological profile of the human body. It is mainly a respiratory virus which can affect the lung and which is affinity for angiotensin converting enzyme 2 receptor present mainly on the pulmonary alveolar epithelial cell, but this receptor is also present on the neurons, liver, various part of GIT, in the glial cell, even in lymphocyte also. So that's why in those organs or structures where this angiotensin converting enzyme 2 receptors is present, it can lead to direct damage to these cells or the organs of their tissue of that organ, and ultimately can lead to complication or disease accordingly. It has been found that the COVID-19 can involve the blood parameters, it can involve the immune system, and thus it also affects the hematological profile of human body. And it has been found that though it mainly involves lung, or where it leads to pneumonia and ARDS or acute respiratory failure in long run, and one of the most common cause of death in the COVID-19 patients is the acute respiratory failure. But once the virus enters the body, or it can enters the blood also, or through hematogenous spread, it can affect various organs also. So let's discuss today how this COVID-19 involves the various blood parameters and how it affects the hematological profile or hemopoietic system of human body. Now, in various patients, COVID-19 patients who are at a critical stage, it has been found that the neutrophil by lymphocytic ratio is altered, and according to various hematologists, this neutrophil by lymphocyte ratio or platelet by lymphocyte ratio is one of the prognostic marker for those patients admitted to the hospital, and they have a higher chance of bad prognosis as the disease progresses. So beside that, there are some other changes like change in lymphocyte count, change in increase in the LDH, then C-reactive protein, interleukin 6. All these markers may be associated with systemic inflammation and resembles or it shows poor prognosis in those patients, in COVID-19 positive patients. And beside other blood parameters like ferritin, prolactin, if it was found to be rise in various patients, the prognosis is found to be very bad. Beside, COVID-19 infected patient also has a risk of coagulation abnormality in their blood. So there is a tendency for their blood to become hypercoagulable and stimulate thrombosis, intravascular thrombosis, and which may generate thrombotic disorder like stroke, myocardial infarction, kidney problems. All this may happen because of increased coagulation abnormality risk, as well as the blood has a chance of become coagulable or thrombotic, and because of that it may lead to DIC also. What is DIC? It is nothing but disseminated intravascular coagulation, which may be because of activation of complement system or hyperimmune response, and especially with the rise of cytokine level in the blood, especially interleukin 6 may lead to DIC, and which may increase the chance of intravascular thrombosis, which may lead to myocardial infarction, kidney damage, multi-organ failure, stroke, and so and so. And mostly patients who has undergone DIC or who are suffering from DIC or complicated cases of COVID-19, who are passing a stage of DIC, their blood parameters shows increase in level of fibrin degradation product, increase in D-dimer, increase in prothrombin, increase in APTT, and decrease in the platelet count. So all these blood profile, like increase in fibrin degradation product, or increase in D-dimer or increase in prothrombin or decrease in APTT, partial thromboplastin time, or decrease in the platelet count, all these parameters show that there is a increased stimulation of intravascular coagulation mechanism, that is the DIC is stimulated. So that helps in the diagnosis of DIC in the later or critical stage of COVID-19 infection, which also proved that the viruses involve the blood as well as hematopoietic system. And this DIC, once stimulated because of the systemic inflammation, mainly because of the cytokines, high level of cytokines, it may stimulate venous thromboembolism. And because of the venous thromboembolism, which increase the chance of various thrombotic disorders, and risk of venothrombotic embolism or venous thrombotic embolism, it increases the risk of various blood hypercoagulable disorders, and ultimately the patients also need the help of heparin or low molecular weight heparin as the anticoagulant is also indicated for prevention of the thrombotic disorders. So one of the important complication of COVID-19 on the hematopoietic system is that it will stimulate blood coagulation abnormality or increase the hypercoagulability of blood, and which may increase the risk of venous thromboembolism, and which increase the chance of getting stroke, myocardial infarction, multi-organ failure, and so on. Now let's discuss how it affects the COVID-19 affects or involves the hematopoietic system. Now it has been found that during the incubation period, without any sign symptoms, within 1 to 4 days of infection, the person or the individual may show simply normal lymphocyte count or mild decrease in lymphocyte count. But as the time proceeds, or as gradually the time progresses, that is within the 7 to 14 days after initial appearance of sign symptoms, there is a systemic inflammation, and which is manifested by cytokine storm or rise of cytokine level in the blood, which is responsible for severe inflammation throughout the body that is spread by hematogenous route, and which has been diagnosed by low lymphocyte count. That time, due to systemic inflammation, there are lots of secretion of cytokines like interleukin 6, interleukin 12, interleukin 7, granulocyte colony stimulating factor, then interferon gamma, and these inflammatory mediators ultimately cause damage to the lymphocyte. How? They stimulate the lymphocytic apoptosis, means the suicide or programmed cell death of lymphocyte. So when there is a systemic involvement of the COVID-19, it leads to rise of cytokine level, which can be diagnosed by rise of interleukin 6, mainly T1 necrosis factor alpha, then monocyte chemotactic factors, then interleukin 7, interleukin 2, then granulocyte colony stimulating factor, interferons. There are many secretion of many cytokines, and because of this secretion of cytokines or overproduction of cytokines, they damage or destroy the lymphocyte, because they increase the lymphocytic apoptosis, and that's why we may see the low level of lymphocyte count in the blood. So as the disease progress, the lymphocyte count may be decreased, which may be resemble or ultimately give poor prognosis, which may show or indirectly shows about the poor prognosis of these patients. And according to another concept, COVID-19 has the affinity for angiotensin converting enzyme 2 receptor, which is also present on the lymphocytic surface, and that's why this COVID-19 can directly bind with the lymphocyte and can cause direct damage to the lymphocyte. So that is another mechanism by which the lymphocyte count decreases, which shows poor prognosis in various patients in various study done in various parts of the world. Now, many patients on admission show low level of lymphocyte count and low level of platelet count as well as low leukocyte count. Especially the low lymphocyte count, it may be associated with poor prognosis because it may increase the risk of death, and it may be associated with severity of the disease, and at the same time low lymphocyte count may be associated with myocardial injury. Low lymphocyte count actually directly or indirectly is linked with the or associated with severe inflammation, and especially it is seen in cytokine storm or sudden rise of cytokine level in the blood, which is responsible for systemic inflammation and may be responsible for myocardial injury and multi-organ failure. So more is the rise of cytokine level, less is the count of lymphocyte. So low lymphocyte count indirectly resembles the cytokine storm or severity of the cytokine storm, and ultimately reflects the poor prognosis in various COVID positive patients in their critical stages. And even in the low platelet count has also been associated with poor prognosis. It has been found in various studies. In many patients with systemic inflammation, as there is cytokine storm, there is increase in C-reactive protein, which proves that there is systemic inflammation going on and rising level of procalcitonin. Now it has been found that those patients shows procalcitonin, they have a chance of secondary bacterial infection. At the same time, there is a rise of LDH. So rise of LDH, rise of procalcitonin, and rise of C-reactive protein may be associated with poor prognosis. It indirectly shows us or gives us the idea that the severity of the disease, and it also directly or indirectly gives idea about the systemic involvement of the COVID-19 infection. Now, increase of procalcitonin has been associated with or increase the risk of severe infection, and at the same time increase LDH may be associated with increase in the risk of ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome, and it has been found that those patients who are having high level of LDH in their blood need more ICU support, mean intensive coronary care unit support, as well as there has the chance of mortality. They have higher risk of mortality. At the same time, high level of C-reactive protein may be also be associated with ARDS and interleukin 6. That is the most potential cytokine that is rise in blood in cytokine storm. It is also responsible for increasing the risk of death in various COVID patients. Now, we'll try to understand that how COVID-19 infection may lead to thrombotic events in blood, or it responsible for stimulation of the coagulation cascade, or increase the blood coagulability, or make the blood hypercoagulable. So there are many mechanisms. COVID-19 severe cases may lead to increase in coagulation disorders, which may be responsible for cardiac injury because of formation of thrombus in coronary artery leading to myocardial infarction, or in case of brain it may lead to cerebrovascular accident due to thrombosis of some major vessels, and that's why it may lead to both cardiological and neurological manifestation also. Now, this thrombotic event may be associated with rise of D dimer and prothrombin time, which also proves the patient is passing through a stage of DIC or disseminated intravascular coagulation, which may be because of complication of cytokine storm. Now let's see how the coagulation cascade is involved, or the person with COVID-19, how their blood is more prone to thrombotic disorders. Now COVID-19 infection may lead to pneumonia, and pneumonia may lead to a severe immunological response, and which is responsible for development of cytokine storm. Now this cytokine storm because of increased amount of cytokine, especially interleukin 6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha, which may lead to creation of a situation known as disseminated intravascular coagulation, which stimulate the intravascular clotting mechanism, and ultimately this DIC is responsible for stimulation of thrombotic disorder, which may lead to cerebrovascular accident or myocardial infection. Sometimes DIC also lead to sudden death also in various COVID positive patients. Besides, the COVID-19 also can bind the angiotensin converting 2 receptors, which is also present in the vascular epithelial cells, and directly this virus, once it binds with the vascular epithelium through this ACU2 receptor or ACE2 receptors, can ultimately causes destruction or damage to the endothelial lining. And once the smoothness of the inner lining of the endothelium is hampered, it may lead to the stimulation of thrombosis, and which increase the risk of venous thromboembolism. Besides, COVID-19 patients who are suffering from any other neurological disorders or any which is responsible for prolonged immobilization, or those patients suffering from hypertension, diabetes, obesity, coronary heart disease, then stroke, all those things also increase the risk of venous thromboembolism. And there are 3 important mechanisms by which venous thromboembolism or thrombotic disorders is increased. Number 1 is direct endothelial injury caused by COVID-19 virus. So COVID-19 virus, since it is affinity for angiotensin converting enzyme 2, which is present on the vascular epithelium, can directly damage the endothelial cells, and because of direct damage, it may lead to cause endothelial injury, which ultimately increase the thrombotic process or thrombus formation or clot formation, and because of that, the chance of venous thromboembolism is increased, and which increase the risk of various thrombotic disorders like cerebrovascular accident or brain attack, myocardial infarction, or cardiac arrest or cardiac attack, or also known as heart attack and also known as myocardial infarction. Besides that, increased systemic inflammation as in cytokine release syndrome or cytokine storm may lead to increased risk of venous thromboembolism. Besides, mechanical ventilation, then central venous catheter also responsible for vascular damage, and which may increase the risk of deep vein thrombosis as well as venous thromboembolism. Besides, surgery, suppose COVID patients or surgical who are undergoing surgery may also have a risk of getting vascular injury, which may stimulate the intravascular coagulation and may lead to increased deep vein thrombosis and the risk of pulmonary embolism and venous thromboembolism. So these are the various blood complications, and most important hematological complication caused by COVID-19 is increasing the risk of venous thromboembolism, pulmonary embolism, hypercoagulability of blood, DIC, that is disseminated intravascular coagulation, and which overall increase the coagulation power of blood, and which increase the risk of thrombotic disorder and increase the risk of myocardial infarction, stroke, then pulmonary embolism, venous thromboembolism, deep vein thrombosis, and so and so. So I should say that giving prophylactic low molecular weight heparin may be life-saving in these patients, especially to prevent the coagulation of blood, DIC, disseminated intravascular coagulation, and prevention of any various thrombotic disorders which may be life-threatening in COVID-19 patients. So prophylactically giving injection or IV of low molecular weight heparin as a prophylaxis can be life-saving or can be important therapeutic intervention in COVID-19 patient to prevent complication of thrombotic disorders or prevention of stroke, myocardial infarction, and cardiac injury. So we can look for various important parameters in blood. So number 1 important parameters, we have to see the neutrophil by lymphocyte ratio or platelet by lymphocyte ratio. So now we'll discuss what are the various blood parameters that we have to check with time. So number 1 is neutrophil by lymphocyte ratio and platelet by lymphocyte ratio. So if the ratio is very much high, or if the lymphocyte count is decreases with time, is signify poor prognosis. At the same time, we can look for cytokine level in the blood, especially interleukin 6, interferons, tumor necrosis factor, alpha. So these three cytokines are very much common in cytokine storm in COVID patients, and rising level of these cytokines may be associated with inflammatory changes in the body, and they may directly or indirectly responsible for kidney injury. They may be responsible for increase the coagulation power of the blood and makes the risk of thrombotic disorder. At the same time, it may also increase the risk of mortality in this COVID-19 patient. Besides that, we can also see various markers like troponin D, which can be a marker of cardiac injury caused by the cytokine release syndrome or cytokine storm. We can see LDH, procalcitonin, then C-reactive protein. These are markers of poor prognosis in these patients, and especially high level of interleukin 6 or high level of cytokine is associated with low level of lymphocyte count. So lower the level of lymphocyte count, more is severity of the disease, and it indicates the poor prognosis, and it may also ultimately increase the risk of death in these COVID-19 patients. And there are various mechanisms by which COVID-19 infection may increase the risk of venous thromboembolism or the thrombotic disorder. Number one is that direct injury of the endothelial cell by COVID-19 patient by its affinity for angiotensin converting 2 receptor, which is present also on the endothelial surface, and because of direct damage there is chance of risk of thrombosis. Another mechanism is that inflammation that is going on in the blood because of cytokines or cytokine release syndrome may lead to direct damage to the complement system, as well as stimulates DIC, which is responsible for increasing the risk of thrombotic disorders, as well as at the same time it also increase the risk of mortality and various thrombotic disorders like stroke, cerebrovascular accident, and so on and so on. Besides mechanical ventilation, central venous catheter, these are also some maneuvers which are done normally in patients suffering from acute respiratory distress syndrome. This mechanical ventilation can cause some injury, and ultimately because of the vascular damage it may lead to the increased chance of deep vein thrombosis and pulmonary embolism. So these are the various mechanisms by which COVID-19 may cause or involve the blood and leads to hematological complication, and giving intravenous prophylactic low molecular weight heparin may be life-saving in the patient suffering from COVID-19 which involves the blood. Thank you very much.